to The Mystery, the podcast where every story ends in murder and you get to solve the crime. Each week you'll hear a brand new murder mystery short story. Your job, pay close attention, gather the clues, and decide who you think did it. After the episode, join our Remind group by texting @mystery95 to 81010 and text in your guess. If you're right, you might just become part of the mystery yourself, with an episode written all about you. Think you can crack the case? Let's find out. This is The Mystery. Blackridge Correctional Facility went completely dark. No lights, no signal, no internet connection. For a few short minutes, the prison was chaos. Yells and hollers filled every room of the building. But as quickly as the darkness came, the light returned, and with it brought the death of Warden Russell. Moments after power returned to the prison, the warden was found dead on the floor of his office. He had been strangled with a phone cord. The guard who discovered him ran to get help, but it was too late. Warden Russell was gone. But why? The news of the warden's death spread quickly throughout the prison. By the next morning, fingers were already being pointed, mostly at Gary Aldridge, who had been being pestered by the warden for over a week regarding Jack Martin's escape. Along with the rest of the power in the building, the security cameras also went out in those few chaotic minutes yesterday. However, footage from seconds before and after the outage showed Gary exiting the dining hall and then him walking down the hallway where his cell is. The dining hall was 2 wings over from Warden Russell's office. It seemed unlikely that Gary could have gotten to the warden's office and killed him and nearly back to his cell in the 3 minutes that the power was out. Unlikely, but not impossible. Denver PD already had a lot on their plate dealing with Jack Martin's escape from the prison and the outcry from the community. Now, with the death of Warden Russell, Chief Stevens felt like he was drowning. It had been 12 days since Martin's escape and 5 days since any sighting of him. The FBI were officially getting involved in the investigation. With all eyes on Gary, yet little evidence to show for him, the police started looking in other directions. After Chief Stevens discovered what the warden had been looking into immediately before his death, he conspired that Jack Martin may be guilty. Sure, any one of the prisoners in Blackridge could have their own reasoning for hating Warden Russell, yet not many of them were smart enough to pull off a facility-wide power outage. Chief Stevens stayed in his office at the precinct until the sun came up that night, replaying the footage, rereading the warden's notes, and reviewing the list of staff who had access to the power grid controls. Someone had overridden the system, shut everything down, and walked into Russell's office unnoticed. The whole thing felt too clean. The FBI arrived that afternoon. Agent Dana Rowe was questionable of Stevens' theory that Jack Martin had somehow orchestrated the blackout from the outside. Unless Jack Martin has a time machine, she said, flipping through a printout of security logs, he didn't walk into this prison, kill the warden, and disappear in 3 minutes during a total lockdown. Stevens rubbed his jaw. Maybe he had help on the inside. Maybe, she said shallowly. 3 hours later, a new piece of evidence surfaced. A maintenance badge was found tucked behind the fuse box. It belonged to Officer Trent Michaels, a guard who hadn't shown up for work since the blackout. Stevens ordered a citywide bolo. That night, they found Michael's body slumped inside his car at an abandoned truck stop 20 miles outside of Denver. Cause of death, a single gunshot to the chest. No fingerprints, no witnesses. Now, there were 2 bodies, and one very clean cover-up. Agent Rowe looked at Stevens across the crime scene tape. Either your man Trent had a very bad day, or someone made sure he wouldn't talk. Stevens didn't reply. His phone buzzed, a text from a blocked number. 1 loose end tied, 2 to go. He stared at the screen for a long moment before sliding the phone into his pocket. A gust of wind kicked up dust across the pavement. Sirens faded in the distance, and somewhere in the dark, someone was still pulling the strings. Thanks for listening to The Mystery. Like and follow our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Facebook and let us know who you think did it by joining our Remind group text. Directions are in the description below. If you guessed right, you might just get your own episode. See you next week.